Okay, cool. And like any questions from whatever the topics that we covered? Okay, so let's continue with today's class. And I'm muting you all. Okay. Okay, so let's continue with the Maven. So in the last class, like we saw how to like create the Maven project and how to install the Maven, and like actually which is a build automation tool. And also like we saw how to add it to our Eclipse as well as create a new project from the Maven. Okay. And so what else we did was like we added one. See, this is the hotel booking that we created, and it had like many folders in there. See, like this. And like we had something called as POM file, pom.xml. Okay, so all these folders were there. So like when we create a Maven project, like this is how it's going to do it. Like it's going to create all these files and folders for us. Okay, so creating is same. Like go to File, New, and select Other, and select the Maven project from the list. So we need to select this Maven, so which will create the Maven project. So, and we need to give the all the details, like what is the name of the project as well as all the details required to create the project. And once you create that, like we'll get these folders. So now what we need to do is like we need to start writing our code. Okay, so in the same way, like there is no change. All the change is only how you create the project. Okay, so once you create the project, like other than that everything will be the same. Okay, like for example, let's see, if you take one of the TestNG examples that we created, let's say, okay, so as September 2016 TestNG, and in the source TestNG examples, see, like we created all our scripts over here, all our test cases here in the TestNG folder, like TestNG example that we created. So for example, let me open the Walmart homepage. Okay, so like this is the TestNG script or the test case that we created. So see, public class Walmart, then @test, before method, after method, and all this information. And even if you take the Amazon homepage, see, you have the code for logging into the Amazon, or we did some task and we created one TestNG script there. And to execute this, what we need to do, we just need to right click and say run as, and select TestNG test, okay, which will execute that specific test. And also if you want to execute as a suite, like what we need to do is we need to create a TestNG like one XML file, and in that XML file we need to provide like what is the class, what are the methods that you want to execute, and what you want to do. So multiple classes, like say if you want to execute multiple test cases, we can add multiple classes over here. Okay, so for example, like parallel tests. See, we have different tests here like Chrome test, Firefox test, IE test, and we were able to execute that. Okay, so now as we are doing the Maven, so what we can do is, see, the same thing. I don't want to create all the code again. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this one. So I'll take this Walmart homepage.java. I'll copy it and I'll paste it in my source test Java in my folder here. So I'll say paste. Okay, and let me close all of the other files and open this one. See, so now when I copied and pasted here, see, there are lots of errors here. Okay, why these errors came in? Because this specific folder like hotel booking project does not understand what this org.testng is, what is this @test, @before, this method, Firefox driver. Like it does not know all these what code we have written. Okay, why? Because is we haven't associated any of our jar files. Okay, so what we did in the TestNG or whatever the other projects that we created, we used to go to the specific for a project, go to the properties and go to the build path, and see, in the libraries we added some files over here. Okay, Selenium Java, Selenium standalone, TestNG, .jar file as well as like JUnit jar file. So whatever the project that we are doing it, like we used to associate all the required jar files to that specific project. Okay, so for this one, for this hotel booking, the Maven project, we haven't added any of them. So that's the reason it's giving me all my errors. Okay, so one more benefit with the TestNG is you don't need to add all the dependencies or all the jar files. So jar files are nothing but called as dependencies to our project. So with this Maven, we don't need to add those dependencies manually. So we don't need to download all the jar files, and we don't need to associate those jar files to our project. Instead, what we can do with the help of the Maven is there is something called as POM file, pom.xml. If I open this, okay, and here if you, in the down, like you have overview, dependencies, everything, and in the last, like you have pom.xml. Click on this. See, this is an XML file where we can give all the dependencies that we want to use or that should be for this specific project. Okay, so here we will provide that, okay, I need a TestNG jar file. Okay, I need a, let's say, Selenium jar file, like Selenium-jar, Selenium standalone server. So whatever the dependencies, like whatever the jar files that you need for your project, we need to provide it here. Okay, so with this, what will happen is when you try to execute it, when you try to build your project, so what this Maven will do is it will come to this POM file, like pom.xml file, and it will go and check what are the dependencies that are required or that are given in that specific test. So it will go and downloads all the dependencies. Okay, so it goes to the internet and it gets all the dependencies that are required, and it downloads it and it gets into your project. So you don't need to manually download, and you need to save and show it to the project, okay, or associate to the project. So here all that will be taken care by the Maven. Okay, so that's what the importance of Maven, or that's what the benefits of using a Maven. So we don't need to download all the dependencies. Okay, and not only that, see, like what the Maven does is, like there are two types of repositories. Repositories in the sense, see, like whatever the jar files that you require for your projects, it is going to download it. Like I said, Maven is going to download from the internet. So what exactly it does is it goes to some specific location and checks whether that file is present or not. Okay, if it is present, then it will go and get it from that location. So for that reason, like there are two repositories. See, one is local repository and the other one is a central repository. So local repository is what it will do is, see, first the Maven will go and check this local repository, and it will go and check whether whatever the file that you are providing, let's say testng.jar, okay, and if you see this one, see, it is JUnit. Okay, that means we are saying that we need a JUnit, and the version of the JUnit is 3.8.1. so it is JUnit jar file and 3.8.1 version. So first what it will do is it will go to its local repository, which is located at this location. So it's users, whatever the username, and there is a folder called .m2. So first is, this is the local repository. So it will go and check whether that whatever the JUnit jar is present in this location or not. Okay, if it is present, then it doesn't do anything. It just goes and like associates it to your project. Okay, so if it is not present in this local repository, then what it will do is it will go to something called as central repository. Okay, so central repository is nothing but a central repository which is like by the Maven. Okay, so Maven maintains a central repository where it will have all the jar files that are required, or what are the jar files that are present. Okay, so what this Maven will do is, if it doesn't find in the local, it goes to the central repository and gets it from there. So it gets it from there and stores it into this local repository, so that next time when it searches for that specific jar file, it doesn't need to go to central again. So it can go to the local and it will search for the jar file in there. Okay, and the location for the central repository is, see, this one, like mavenrepository.com. So if you go to the Maven repository, see if I go to this location, see this is the place like where all the jar files will be there. So if you want to search for a specific jar file, see I can say testng. Okay, see testng is here. When I click on that, see all the jar files. Okay, see what are the jar files that are required, like the testng, all the version jar files are here. See 6.9.13.6, 6.9.13.5, 13.4, 13.3, like that. Okay, and let's say if you want to go with a different one, JUnit, see search with the JUnit, click on the search, see you'll get the JUnit, then click on this, see all the versions of the JUnit jar, see 4.1, 4.9, 4.8, like all the versions of the JUnit jar files will be maintained here. In the same way, let's say Cucumber, see Cucumber core. So if you need this, click on search, see you got the Cucumber core, click on this, see 1.2.5, 1.2.4, 2.3, all the versions like this. Okay, so this is the central repository which is maintained by the Maven. Okay, so it downloads from there and it gets into the local. So if you want to go to the local repository, see C drive, like users, then see Satish, and you have a M2 folder over here. And M2, in that M2, see you have repository, and in here all your repository files are here. Okay, and if you see here, let's say JUnit jar file, see 3.8.1, 8.2, 4.11, 4.11, 4.12, all this like this. Okay, so like this, like all of the jar files will be present. Okay, so that's how like Maven first goes and searches here. If it is not present, then it goes to the central repository and gets it from there and stores it here. Okay, so this is what the benefit of Maven is. Okay, so now let's say I don't need this JUnit. Let's say my framework that I am using for my project is the testng framework. So what I need to do is I need to add that specific dependency over here. Okay, see this is an XML file and it says see dependency, end dependency, group ID, end group ID, artifact ID, artifact ID, see version, scope, all of them. Okay, so now let's say I want my testng. Okay, so like I want to download my testng dependency. So what I can do is I can come to this Maven repository and I can search testng. Okay, so this is my testng. Okay, now based on which version that you want to get. Okay, so based on which version that you want to download or use for that specific project, we need to click on that specific version. So let's say I want to get this 6.9.13.6. Click on this. See, it will give you all the information about it. And in this Maven tab, we need to copy this. See, you have the dependency over here. So all we need to do is just copy it from here. See, I'll copy it. And I'll come back to my Maven, my Eclipse and paste it here. See, dependency, like this. Okay, and in the same way, let's say we also need the Selenium jar file. So if you go to our testng old folder and if you see here, see we have Selenium Java 3.0.1.jar and Selenium standalone server 3.0.1.jar. So let's download even them. See, I'll say Selenium Java and search it. See Selenium Java and version is 3.0.1. Click on this and copy the dependency from here. Okay, I can just copy everything and I can paste it here. And the next one is Selenium server standalone. See, the next dependency like this. Okay, and the next dependency is see Selenium server and see Selenium server, then go to 3.0.1 and copy the dependency from here. See, we don't need to type anything too. Whatever the dependency that we want or whatever the jar file that we want to download, we can just give it here. Okay, see, like this. Okay, so we got all the 3 jar files. What are the jar files that we want for our specific project? And if you see the jar files, see, let me save this, and once you save it, what it will do is it will go connect and it will get the jar files. Okay, and if you see here, see, all the errors are gone. If you go to Walmart homepage, see, all the errors have been gone. So we did not download all the jar file and associate to the project. Instead, all we did is updated this pom.xml file with all the jar files that we needed. See, dependencies, and dependency, second dependency, like that, and third dependency. Okay, so it is going to download it and get all the jar files. And other than that, everything is same. See, if I want to execute, I can just select this Walmart homepage.java, right click, say run as test-ng test. So from here, nothing changes. See, it's going to execute in the same way. So it's launching the browser, or whatever the code that is there in your script, it's going to execute that. Okay, see. So it has like Walmart, it has Amazon.com code in it, and it is logging into both of them. See, Walmart, all those methods. See, Amazon home you have, and you have Walmart homepage, going to Amazon, going to Walmart. So other than that, like we don't have any other thing like closing it. So we are not even closing it, we are just like launching it and doing it. See, it opened both the browsers like Amazon and Walmart. See, let's close this. So this is how you can execute the code. Okay, and not only this, like this is like we created just one test case and we executed that test case. Okay, in the same way, in the test-ng we also had the XML file. Like if you want to execute a multiple test cases or multiple classes, like we can use the XML file and we could have executed it. See, like if you go to this is Amazon, so I'm not sure if it is in the smoke test. Yeah, see, this is the XML file that we created to execute the Walmart homepage. Okay, only just like one test case. So I'll copy this file, see, copy and paste it into our Maven project. Same thing, like we are pasting it in the Maven. Okay, so let me close this. Let me open that. See, smoketest.xml file. Okay, so now what we need to do is we just need to update some of our path. See, okay, so now our path of this one is see com.expediabooking.hotel booking. See, let me copy this. Okay, see, let me do a refactor, rename. Okay, I just wanted to copy that. Okay, see, I got this. So com dot this dot then Walmart homepage. So the method this Java is this. Okay, let's copy this. So the spellings and everything should be the same, otherwise it's not going to execute it. See, Walmart homepage, and method that we want to include is Walmart homepage. Okay, see, I just updated the class name because this is the different package and that was a different package, so that's why I just updated it to com.expediabooking.hotelbooking. hotelbooking.walmart homepage, and I'm including a Walmart homepage also over here. Okay, so and even this one is same. All we need to do is right click, run as TestNG suite. See, inside Walmart home method, before method, and it is launching the browser. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so it got some error maybe because of the application, but yeah, see, test runs is 1, 0 failure. So the execution has been completed for that specific thing. Okay, so this doesn't change. Like all benefit of Maven is only like you can execute with the help of the jar file. Okay, sorry, we don't need to download the jar file. Instead, we can update the dependencies in our pom.xml file, and that will take care of our jar files. Okay, so this app test.java, it creates by itself, like when we create the project. So let's just delete it. Okay, and we only need this. Okay, so now, so not only from here, like we can also execute it from the command prompt also. So now we just executed from here, right click, and we were executing it. So instead, like what we can do, we can also execute it from the command prompt also. Like there are different commands using which you can execute it. And see, like when I refresh it, hotel booking, and I'll refresh. See, in the test output, it's going to create all the results file. See, index.html, which will have the result file, the TestNG result. See, TestNG result, reporter output, see all of the information, like how many methods got passed, how many methods got, whatever the results that you have in your TestNG report. Okay, so either we can execute it from here, or what we can do is, see, we can execute from the command prompt also. Okay, so for doing that, like first of all, we need to go to our package. Okay, or we need to go to our project. So the project is here. See, if you see here, yeah, cd workspace, see, users Satish workspace, and inside workspace, see, you have cd hotel booking. Okay, cd hotel booking is our project. Okay, cdir, see, like this. Okay, so we are in the project now. So now let's say if you want to execute our test, okay, from here also we can execute it. We don't need to go to the Eclipse, and we don't need to execute it from there. Instead, from here also I can say mvn and say test. So what it will do is, it's going to build our project and it's going to execute all our tests. See, I can say mvn test, and if I enter it, see, it will start building the project. See, okay, see, the build is success and it executed it. Okay, so now, like let's say, in case if you want to clean it, like let's say you have your all the files that you created it, okay, and let's say you want to delete it, like delete it in the sense like you don't want to have all these results file or this target file. See, if I refresh it, see, it also creates something called as target, like all the things, compiling, everything it does, compiling it, testing it, everything. And let's say you want to delete it, like you want to have a fresh project, like you want to clean everything that is there in this Maven project. So what we can do is, we can type Maven and say clean. Okay, so what this Maven clean will do is, it will delete all the files that have been created, all the files in the sense, whatever the target and the test folders that I've created, it will clean it up. See, now if I refresh, see, whatever that is there in the target, it is gone. Okay, so clean, it just cleans the project, like whatever that is there in the target, it cleans up that target. Okay, so that is mvn clean. So mvn test, mvn clean. And in the same way, with the help of the Maven, what we can do is, we can also build our project. Okay, build our project in the sense, see, there are, like let's say now we are using something like Selenium jar file, testng jar file. Okay, so jar file is nothing but it has all the project in it, like whatever the code that has been written inside that jar file. Okay, or inside that project, let's say if you want to use it, or for example, see, like Amazon.com is there. Okay, so what is done in the background of this Amazon.com project is, like, they will create a project in the same way how we did. See how we have the hotel booking, how we have the flight booking. Let's say they'll create something called as Amazon website or Amazon something. Okay, and in that they will write all the code, like whatever the code that needs to be written to get this homepage or all these functionalities, the developers will write all that code. So in order to display in this browser, like what we need to do is, or the developers need to do is, they need to deploy that project into the server. Okay, so they need to go to the server, and in that server they need to deploy. When they deploy, and if you launch this URL, this will go to that server and get whatever the code that is present in that server. Okay, that's the general process. And servers, they take the jar file. So in order for you to copy your project or build your project into the server, like you need to convert this into the jar file. Okay, and that can also done with the help of this Maven. Okay, so all we need to do is, see, we need to go to that specific project and say Maven MVN package. So when we do this, what it will do is the Maven will build the project and it will create a jar file, and you can take that jar file and deploy it into the server. Okay, so you can deploy it into the server, or you can also use it in other projects also. Other projects in the sense, see, JUnit or TestNG, all the jar files that we were using, they have been written by some persons, like some companies have written that code for it. So we are using that code. How we are using it? With the help of the jar file. We are taking the jar file and we are associating it to our project. When you associate to our project, whatever that is there in those jar files, we'll be able to use it. Okay, so we are able to use the TestNG, we are able to use the Selenium, all, or Cucumber, because of those jar files. So in that way, we can create this package and we can create a jar file and can be used by others also. Okay, see, now I created the package. Right click and just say refresh. See, it will be stored in the target. See, hotel booking -0001 snapshot.jar. Okay, it created a jar file like this for us. Okay, and if I want to just delete it, all I will do is I'll say Maven clean, which will delete all the contents of the target. See, right click, refresh. See, the jar file has been deleted. Okay, so this is how, like, we can create the jar file with the help of the Maven package. Okay. And this jar file, we can take it or give it to anyone, like whatever the code that is there in our project, they can use it. See, right click, refresh, and you'll get this jar file. See, hotel booking or whatever the project, like your code, you are converting into a jar file like this. Okay, so all these things can be done with the help of the Maven. So that's why generally all the projects, they use Maven, so that it's easy for them to maintain. Like building the project will be easy, and creating the dependencies, everything will be easy, and we don't need to worry about it. All we need to do is just create one pom.xml file and it will take care of the dependencies. Okay, not only this, like in Maven, like also what we can do is, see, like when we run this XML file, it's going to execute. Let's say it is only going to execute that specific XML file. Okay, like if you take the smoke test.xml. So what it is doing is, it is only going to execute what are the smoke test cases or whatever that you have it here, it is going to execute that. In the same way, let's say like you have multiple of the test cases that you want to execute. For example, see, you have something called as parallel test.xml. Okay, so let me copy even this one. Okay, copy to our Maven project. Okay, so hotel booking, and paste it. Okay, and maybe we might have something in there. See, parallel test. Okay, so we have TestNG examples.parallel test. So this is the Java file. So let's copy even this one and paste it here, okay, into our source test and Java. Okay, see, again it's throwing me an error. Let's see what it is. Okay, just like browser type tool lowercase, it's asking us to change it to a different one. Yeah, okay, so it's just like old code, so we updated it. So then we are coming to the parallel test. See, even we need to update our package name. Okay, so let's go to our smoketest.xml and copy this package name. Okay, and then here. Like this. Okay, so let's say now like we have multiple XML files, or like we have multiple suites that we want to execute, like smoke test was one suite, and also like we have parallel test.xml as one another. So at a time we can only execute one, because we need to come here, select it, right click, and then we have to say run as testng suite, then it's going to execute it. Okay, then we, after that is done, we need to come to this parallel test, and again we need to execute it. Okay, not only so, to do this, like instead of executing everything one by one, like what we can do is in our POM file, like this XML file, pom.xml file, we can also give like what are the tests or what suites that we want to execute it. Okay, so we can also specify it here also. Okay, so how to do that is, see, come to the after dependencies, like here we need to write some code. So for that, like if you want to execute our scripts or multiple suites at the same time, like we need to have one plugin, and the name of that plugin is the Surefire plugin. Okay, there is something called as Surefire. So let's get that plugin. See, let me come here and I can say Google and say Maven Surefire, see, plugin. Okay, and I can come here, see, and let me copy that part of code. See, and we are using the testng, so using testng. Okay, so see, this is the one, not this. Yeah, see, using suite XML files. See, let's copy this. Okay, all you need to do is just copy this content, like this Surefire plugin, and see, paste it here. Okay, let's remove this and this, like this. And see, there is some error because these two again should be in some other tag called build, like this. See, build, and here. Okay, so this is the one. So let me do a small, yeah, like this. Okay, so there should be a build tag, and inside build tag this plugin tag should be there. And for that you need to have the group ID as, see, Maven plugins. Artifact ID is the Maven Surefire plugin, the version of it. And see, if you see here, suite XML files, and here we need to provide the name of the XML files that you want to execute. Okay, so the first one that we want to execute is the, see, smoke test suite.xml. See, I'll add it here. Okay, smoke test suite.xml. Okay, so when we run this, it's going to execute this specific XML file. And in case if you want to get the second one, or let it be like this, see, let's first see whether it is executing it or not. So I'll go to the command prompt and say Maven test. See, okay, so it didn't execute. There is some error. It says source 1.5. Looks like there is some compilation error. So let's see, class target test classes. Oh, looks like in the parallel test.java there is some error. So because of it, it is not able to run. Okay, so let me comment everything in here. Okay, I'm just commenting it so that we can first see what it is. See, Maven test. See, it's executing it now. So now it will open the browser. See, it launched the browser. Okay, and if you see here, see, it's still running, and see, test run is completed and build is success. So it is executed, like it executed that specific scenario. Okay, and in the same way, let's say if you want to have more test cases, like if you want to execute more, so looks like, let me uncomment this code. Okay, something is wrong in this, like switch case it seems. So let me comment this switch case. Okay, and I'll just write a simple line of code like systemutil.run. Okay, maybe let's say I'll say inside parallel test script. Okay, and I'll comment all of them so that it only just displays that specific line of code. Okay, inside parallel test. Okay, and so now see, we need to go back to the pom.xml file, see, and add one more test from here. See, suit XML and suite. In this I'll say, see, parallel test.xml. See, now you have two XMLs, like one is test smoke test and the parallel test. So now if I go back and run this, if I say Maven test, see, it's going to execute both of them. See, inside the Walmart method, the first test, okay, see, next is inside, see, after Walmart, and see, you have, it is executing others also. You see, inside parallel test and parallel test, see, 3 times. So total executions have been done is 4 test cases. Why it executed 3 times is because, see, in the parallel test.xml we have 3 Chrome test, Firefox test and IE test. So it executed that same method 3 times. Okay, so that's why it is giving the system.out.println 3 times. See, like this. Okay, so now what's happening is, with the help of the Maven, like we were able to execute like parallel test as well as the smoke test also, and that we have to provide it in this pom.xml file with the help of this Surefire plugin. Okay, so this is also one of the benefit that you get it with the help of the Maven. So you can execute like multiple test suites and you can run them all at the same time. So you don't need to like execute one suite one time. You can execute, like you can specify whatever that you want to execute in this pom.xml file and you can run it from here. Okay, so either you can do it like manually, you can go to the command prompt and you can run it from here, or we can also use some tools and from the tools also we can execute all these or build this Maven project. Okay, so but generally if you just simply want to use the Maven and execute it, we can do it like this. Okay, so that's what the benefit of Maven is. So we have local repository, then see we have the pom.xml file for the dependencies that we want to provide. Then there are different commands, see clean, test, package, like all these methods. Like even build is also same, like building the or executing the or building that specific project. Okay, so with the help of the package we can build the jar or var files for the specific project that we have. Okay, and then we have the Surefire plugin. See, to execute multiple TestNG XML source files, like we have to use this Surefire plugin. And in the form.xml file, we need to provide this information, like Surefire plugin and the XML file name and what are the XMLs that you want to execute it. Okay, so this is what exactly we can do with the help of the Maven. So it just like helps us to maintain our project, like building the project, like adding the dependencies. All these things will be easy with the help of the Maven. So that's why generally we use the Maven project instead of just creating the Java project or the TestNG project. Like we have to use this Maven project, and in that Maven again you can use whatever that you want to. Like you can use TestNG, you can use JUnit, or whichever the framework that you want to use it. And again, you can use Cucumber. Everything is same. The project structure will be different with the help of this Maven. Okay. Any questions? Is it clear? Okay. So let's continue with the next topic. So it's only 9. Yeah. Let's quickly see the Jenkins also. Okay. Okay, so the next tool that we'll be learning is called Jenkins. So before even like learning about the Jenkins, like we need to know something called as continuous integration. See, let me open a notepad. Continuous integration. Okay, so basically what this continuous integration means is, see, first what the developers will do, like they'll write the code to display the application, like to develop the application. Okay, so let's say if you have 3 developers, developer 1, then developer 2, then developer 3. So what they do, let's say the first guy is working on the login functionality. Okay, second guy is working on, let's say, logout functionality, and third guy is working on the compose functionality. Okay, so once they are done with their task, like what they will do, they need to integrate all the code. Okay, so they need to integrate all the code of these 3 different developers. Okay, and at that time what will happen, like the code might work, the login functionality might work very perfectly in the like developers 1 system. The logout functionality might work in the developer 2 system. Okay, so the code might work properly in their own systems, but when they merge their all code, there may be chances that it might not work properly. Okay, so login might be sending something which a compose email might not be receiving it. Okay, so like let's say something like when you click on the logout, let's say login should be disabled or something. Okay, so the data will be passing between all the developers code. So with this what happened, let's say it might work properly with them, but when they integrate all the code, it might not be working properly. Okay, so for that reason, like what we do is, like generally whenever the developer has completed their code, a part of the code, they'll start integrating with the other developers. Okay, so before like during the waterfall, when the companies were using the waterfall methodology, what they used to do is, first their first developer, they used to work on it for let's say 1 month, 2 months or something, and let's say they need to release the product to the testing people, let's say after 3 months. So the developers might work for 2 months and or all the 3 months, like all 3 different developers, and the third month when they are supposed to deliver it to the testers, let's say they integrate everything and they know that like something might break. Okay, so and again they need to spend some time to fix those issues and then they release it to the testers. Okay, that used to happen before. So now in the agile methodology, what they are doing is, instead of waiting for 2 months, 3 months, they will develop the code, small chunks of code, and they will try to integrate with other developers, and they release it to the testers. Okay, so they have to they have to integrate quickly, and they have to build that application and give it to us. So for that reason, before they used to do it manually, all this integration process and building process, everything they used to do it manually. Like one person will write all the code and they will integrate it. Okay, but with the latest technologies, like now what they have done is, there is one tool called Jenkins. So what this Jenkins will do is, whenever a developer updates the code and checks the code, okay, so what this Jenkins will do is, it is going to build the project and release it. Okay, so whenever a developer checks in the code, it is going to build it, and it is going to, in case if there are any issues, it is going to throw an error saying that, okay, like something is not working, or there are some issues with the build, or whatever the issues are there, it's going to display it. So by this, like what will happen is, they don't need to wait for other developers, or to once they, like whenever a developer checks in the code, if the build is broken, then he will fix it without waiting for the other developers. Okay, so for that, like we have some tool called as Jenkins, which is a continuous integration tool. Okay, so and also the developers, what they do is, when they write the code, they don't copy or save it in their local machine. Okay, they will create in the local machine itself, but they store all that code. Once they are done in their local machine, they will store everything in a central repository. Okay, so there are some tools even for that, like, because like everything should be at one place, they cannot be at all the different developers systems. Instead, they have to store it into some specific location. Even for that, they have some tools, like something called as version control tools. Okay, so version control tools like SVN, CVS, like that, there are many tools. Okay, so it's like a database, which has all the code. Okay, so whenever the developers check in the code, they will check in whichever the tool that they are using, they'll save it into that tool. Okay, and the Jenkins will take the code that is present from this tool, and it's going to build it. Okay, so we don't need to exactly know like what tools are there, how to store, how to check in, how to check out the code, that because that is generally done by the developers. Even in the testing also, we might use these tools, so then we need to know how to check in the code, how to check out the code. It's simple, like in the here itself, like we'll have an option. See, something like this, right click, if you go to team, okay, so they will show, in case if it is a SVN or a CVS, they will have an option, okay, get it, check in the code or check out the code, that information will be there. Okay, so that, like with the help of the Jenkins, what they do is, like the Jenkins, whenever a code has been checked in or committed into the tool, like the version control tool, the Jenkins will go and build it. Okay, so that like, and it's a very fast, like it's not previously with the waterfall, what used to happen is, like the build used to be, once in a while the build used to be sent to the testers, like once in a month or 2 months or 3 months. But with the agile, we might get build every 1 hour, or probably like every day 2 times a build, or every day 4 times a build. Okay, so to make that easy, we will use this Jenkins tool. Okay, so basically it's an continuous integration tool, which helps to build the projects automatically. Okay, and also like it helps in the continuous testing in the sense, see, whenever a build is deployed, we might need to test it, like smoke test or something like that. So in the Jenkins itself, we can write our code like smoke test scripts, and we can put it into the Jenkins and tell Jenkins, okay, whenever a build is deployed, can you please execute these test cases? Okay, and like that. Or let's say we want to execute all our regression test cases every day, like every day at 10 o'clock in the morning, or every night at 1 o'clock in the night. So we can also schedule that with the help of the Jenkins. So in the Jenkins, we can go and tell, okay, please execute this specific test, okay, or whatever that we did. See, MVN test, we did that, right? So we can tell to Jenkins, okay, at 2 o'clock in the night, go and execute this specific test. Okay, whatever the test that is there in this, specific project. We can also tell that. So all these things can be done with the help of the Jenkins, like continuous integration, like and build the builds automatically. Then we can also do the executions like scheduling the jobs for executing our automation test cases. Okay, and even this Jenkins is also a open source tool, so we can also download and we can also install it. Okay, and how to install this Jenkins is simple. Like we need to go to the specific URL and download one WAR file. Okay, so if you go to this URL, okay, so this is the Jenkins URL, and all we need to do is click on this download, and all we need to do is click on this 2.19.4.var, whichever the release that you have. All we need to do is click this and it will start downloading it. So once it downloads, like you need to save that file at some specific location. Okay, so what I did is I stored it at, see here, if you see here, see jenkins.var. Okay, so like once you download it, you need to store that at some specific location. See, latest jars, I stored it here. So after storing it here, like we need to start that jar var file. Okay, so it's a server, it's kind of a server that you are executing it, okay, or you're using it. So to start it, like first of all you need to go and run this jenkins.var file. And how to do that is, see, we need to go back to that folder. So cd dot, okay, then see cd satish, cd selenium, then cd latest jars, okay, dir, and see you have jenkins.var. So we need to go to that specific folder and then start our jar file from there. Okay, and how to do that is, see, java hyphen jar jenkins.var. Okay, so all we need to do is java hyphen jar jenkins.var file. So once you click on this, see, it's going to start the server. See, it says started initialization. So finally it will say the Jenkins has been started. See. See, started all plugins. And finally you'll get like Jenkins initialized or something. See, Jenkins is fully up and running. Okay, so that means Jenkins has been started. So to check whether it is started or not, like what we need to do is we need to go to see localhost 8080. Okay, so from the browser we need to type this localhost 8080. Okay, and first time what it will do is it will ask you some information. Like when you do that first time, see, we need to go to that localhost 8080. So when you are doing it for the first time, like what it will do is it will install some plugins. See, like you will get this page image on your browser and which will install all the required plugins. Okay, so forget about like what the plugins are. So but it will install all the required things for the Jenkins. Okay, and just say okay, just stay there itself. And once that plugin installation has been completed, it will ask you to create a user. Okay, so like you need to create one admin user. So you'll get this form. See, create first admin user, wherein you need to provide all your information like what is the username, password, like full name and the email address. And then we need to click on finish and save. Okay, this is only for the first time. Like once you first time itself you will get this, see, and then you'll get this image like Jenkins is ready and start using Jenkins. Just click on the start using Jenkins, then it will come to your main page. Okay, something like this. It will come to your home page where you need to log in. So use that whatever the username and password that you created and log into the Jenkins. Okay, see, this is your home screen. Okay, and first time when we are installing it, you need to make some or some settings. Okay, settings in the sense, even this Jenkins also uses Java, Maven, like whatever all the standards that are there, like it also need to use it. Okay, so for that reason, like what we need to do is we need to give the path of our Java, and we need to provide the path of the Maven. Okay, so how to do that is we need to go to this manage Jenkins, click on this. Okay, and you have something called as configure global security. Okay, so click on this, sorry, not this one, global tool configuration. See, global tool configuration, click on this. Okay, see here we need to provide the JDK path. See, first thing is this, see JDK install JDK path. So just click on this and we need to provide the version, like what is the version that you're using, as well as we need to give the path of the home also, Java home. So when we create the when we were creating the install the JDK, we update it in the environment variables. Okay, the same we can also provide it here. See, environment variables, and if you come here, see Java underscore home. Okay, so in this Java underscore home also we'll provide the path of the JDK. See, C program files Java JDK 1.8.0 underscore 112. See, same thing I did here. And in the same way, the Maven also we have to give. See, M2 underscore home path. See, I'll show you. If you come down here, see Maven, click on this. See Maven, give some name to it, Maven 3.3.9, and the path of the Maven home. Okay, so once you give this, we need to click on the save. In case if you are using, there are other tools like how you have the Maven, you also have something called as Ant tool. Okay, it's also a build tool like Maven. In case if you are using the Maven and instead of Maven, we need to provide the path of that ant. See, there is something called as Gradle. Like in case if you are using it, we generally don't use all of them. We just use like Maven and the JDK. Okay. See, Git is also something where you store, let's say you created your project and you want to store at some location. Like you want, there is something called as Git, which stores all your code. Okay. So you can, it's also a free tool where you can create your account and you can keep your code. Instead of keeping it in your local, you can store it there also. See Git. See, it's a free and open source distributed version control system. Okay, so it's like a version control, like how you have, like I said, CVS, SVN, even Git is also version control. You can store all your code here, like you can create it and you can store all your code here. Okay, we need to create a user, like we need to create a user and then we can store our code here. So generally, like we'll not do it because in companies they will have their own version control system and they store it in their local systems itself. Okay, so first once we install the Maven, you need to update the JDK as well as we need to update the Maven also because we want to use the Maven here. Then click on the save button. Okay, so after clicking on the save, then come back to the dashboard. Okay, so we need to update the JDK path as well as the Maven path in there. Okay, see, click on manage Jenkins, then global tool configuration, then add the JDK and the Maven path and click on the save. Okay, so this is the configuration that you need to do first in order for us to do anything with the Jenkins. Okay, and then finally we need to create a project. Okay, so again, even in the Jenkins also we need to create a project because we want to execute our whatever the test that we created. Okay, so now we don't want to execute it from here. So what we want to do is from the Maven we can also execute it. Okay, we can come to our path and we can execute it from the Maven also. And how to do that is, see, first is click on this new item. Okay, and give a name to it. So let's say 2016 underscore smoke. Okay, let's say it's a smoke test or maybe Maven test. Okay, and there are different types of projects that you have. See, one is freestyle project, Maven project, and there is something called as pipeline, external job, multi-configuration. But now we want to do a Maven project. So I'll select the Maven over here. Okay, see, I selected the Maven and click on this OK button. So that means we are creating a Maven project from the Jenkins. Like we want to execute a Maven project, so I'm selecting this. Okay, click on OK, and it will ask you for some more information. See, so name of the project is this. Give some information. So like this is for Maven testing test or something. Okay, and some information about it. Let's say source code management. Like we need to tell where our source code is. Source code is nothing but this code, our Java code that we have written. Okay, and we are using it in the local, like that is in the local system. So I'll say none because it's in the local. So one, you have Git, which I just told you what Git is, where you can store your code, or we also have something called a subversion. So like how you have Git, there is something called a subversion also, where you can store your code. Okay, so in case if your code is in the Git or subversion, we need to click on them, okay, or select them. Let's say if your code is local in your system, then we need to select this none, which is, that means that our test is in the, or code is in our local system. Okay, and then you have, see, build triggers, like when do you want to execute it. Okay, so build whenever a snapshot dependency is built. Okay, I'll explain you about that, what it is. Okay, for now forget about it. Okay, build triggers. Okay, and build environment, like let's say if you want to delete workspace before build starts, or about the build if it is struck, some building, like let's say when you are building your project, something is happened, like say it's in the build is not coming up. Okay, or like you want to delete the workspace and then you want to restart, rebuild the workspace. Okay, so generally we don't do any of them. Okay, because we don't want to do anything like that. Okay, and see, build root pom.xml. So here we need to provide the path of the XML file. Okay, so how we can get that is, see, this is the file, right click, properties, we'll get the XML file path. See, C users, this is. Okay, I'll copy that and I'll paste it here, because the POM file is the main one, because all the execution and everything, all dependencies or what suites that we want to execute, everything is in the POM file itself. Okay, so that's why we need to provide the path of that POM file. Okay, and then finally we have the goals and options. Goals and options is nothing but, see, the commands that you want to execute on that specific build. Okay, so what we did from the command previously, we created like Maven test, MVN test. Okay, so here, as it is already a Maven project, we don't need to do anything. So all we can do is just say test. Okay, so it will execute Maven test. Okay, and then see, that's it. And I want to click on save button. See, we created it. Okay, so we created the project and we configured it. And in case if you want to change that configuration, see, we can go to again configure and we can update it. See, we'll again go back to the same page. Okay, Maven project name and everything, all the details will be here like this. Okay, see, POM file, then test. Okay, and save it. So now if you want to execute it, okay, if you want to execute that specific test, whatever that is there in our project, so all we need to do is, see, there is something called as build now. So we need to click on this build now. See, so you don't need to go to Eclipse on, you don't need to execute it from there. So from the Jenkins itself, like we can execute our tests. So it started the execution. If you see here, like it's building the project, and like now it will open the browser and it will execute it. Oh, it started the execution, but it didn't do anything. So let's see what it is. Go to this console output. See, I just clicked on that build. So it says error unknown lifecycle phase. It was Maven test only, right? MVN test. It's ambient test only, but somehow it says unknown life cycle phase test. Okay, let me see. So just test only. Maybe I gave uppercase or what? Let me check. It's only test. Even test. Or see, we can even execute this one and see. See, I'll say build now. So if you see there, like the browser got opened, see. Still running. See, Walmart is got opened. And if you go back to it, it's still running. See, both the browsers have been closed from here. See, and the build has been executed. And if you click on this build history, like it's going to give you the results in case if you have any results that we have written. See, if you go to the test result, see, com.expedia.flight booking, and there are two of the scripts that it got executed, test cases. And if you see the parameters, see, these are the two things like this. See, com.expedia, and this is passed. And in the same way, if you go back and click on this, see com.expedia this, and it got passed. Okay, and if you go to this console output, so whatever that is there on the console of this command prompt, you can also see it from here. See, like test executing the Maven test, like building it, all the information will be here. See how many tests it got executed, how many of them failed, what happened, whether the build got success or not. All this information will be updated here. Okay, so this is how like you can create our tests. So in order, like you don't need to open our, once your automation has been completed, when once your scripts development has been done, you don't need to even open Eclipse and do it. So from here itself you can configure and we can execute our test from the Jenkins. Okay, and now I was using the local code. In case if I'm using, or if my code is at some location in the Git. Okay, so you need to provide the Git information here. See repository URL, like where you have your Git, and in case if it has the credentials like username and password to connect to Git, like we need to provide that. Okay, so just the URL. So when you create your account, he is going to, or Git is going to provide where your code is. So all we need to do is just copy that code and paste it here. Okay, and in the same way, see build triggers. So now build triggers, whenever a snapshot is built, is like when you click on the build now, then the build is going to be triggered. Okay, instead, let's say you want to build at specific time. That means you want to execute your test at some specific time interval. So we can say this build periodically. Okay, and here we can provide the schedule. Okay, so here we can say when you want to execute it. Let's say you want to execute every day at 1 o'clock, or you want to execute every Saturday, or every month on the first of the month. Okay, or every year on January 1st or December 31st or something like that. Some specific time you want to build your or execute your test cases. So all those information you can provide it here in the schedule. Okay, and we need to provide that information in a specific format. Okay, see when you click on this question mark button, is going to give you how we need to provide it. See, this field follows the syntax for cron with minor differences. Like, okay, so first we need to divide the minute, then hour, then day of the month, and the day of the week. Okay, so what we can do is like we need to provide the data in this way. So if you give star star star, like, so we need to provide it something like this. Let's say if you want to execute every minute, see 5 stars. That means it will execute every minute. Okay, and in case, see if you want to do something else, see if you say here to specify multiple values, like we can also change it. Okay, and if you see here, see to allow periodically scheduled tasks to produce even load on the system, the hash should be used for whenever possible, or for example, see 003 stars. See, for a dozen daily jobs will cause a, like what it is saying is when you want to execute, let's say if you want to execute every day, okay, so we can do it like that. Okay, see hash every 15 minutes. See if you want to execute every 15 minutes, okay, for every 15 minutes, see we have to give this hash slash 15. Yeah, just like the cron job. So basically this Jenkins helps us to execute the jobs. Okay, so it can be a cron job or whatever, like jobs that you have. Okay, so if you see here, like I have specified that like shell script, like helps to run a shell script, which is like a job that you can create. Okay, so you can copy this and I can paste it. Okay, so what it will do is this job will be executed every 15 minutes like this. Okay, in case if it is every hour, see would last run have at Wednesday this. Okay, and would next run at Wednesday November 30 at 8:33 p.m. In case if I put it like this, at 8:33 it's going to start the execution. Okay, so all we need to do is just keep the system on. So it is going to go and build the trigger and it will execute all our test cases. Okay, so like that. So in the same way, see if you want to run it every 10 minutes or specific, like based on what or how you want to execute it, we need to do it. And if you see here, see once a day on the 1st and 15th of every month except December. Okay, see we need to provide it like this. Okay, HH1 15 1 minus 11. Okay, so like that. So generally it will be every day we can execute it, or depends on like how you want to execute. We need to configure our build or schedule it based on that here. Okay, and it's going to execute based on that. Okay, it's like kind of scheduling the job, scheduling our execution. Okay, and in the same way we can also send some emails also in case, see post steps in the sense, let's say if the build fails, okay, so run only if the build succeeds, or run only if the build succeeds or is unstable. Okay, so regardless of the build, run it. That means even the first build failed, let's say you don't want to run that build until you fix it, so we can say this, okay, run only if the build succeeds. Okay, or regardless whatever it is, every 15 minutes you want to run it, then we can select this option. So there are different options based on how you want to execute your scripts. And see finally you have something called as build settings, in the sense email notification. So let's say if you want to send an email once your build has been executed and you want to send an email, so you can also give the email address here. So what it will do is it will send an email once the execution has been completed. Okay, and again you have, see, send email for every unstable build. Let's say if something fails in your build, you want to send an email. Okay, and send separate emails to individuals who broke the build. Okay, so when you use the Git or the SVN or those kinds of tools, like the Jenkins will know who has checked in the code. So that then like whoever has last checked in the code, it will send an email to that specific person saying that the build has been broken, please go and check. Okay, so like that. So you can also send some email. So basically these are all the things that you can do. So all we need to know is how to create a job and how to configure it, or what path we need to, like POM file path, we need to provide it there. Okay, other than that, like all this maintenance and everything will be taken care by the DevOps team. So we generally also, we might not also have the option to create the job also. Okay, so all we need to do is tell them that, okay, this is my POM file, can you please create a job for me? Because there is a separate team who will be working specially for this Jenkins itself, like the DevOps team. So they will work on maintenance of this Jenkins and like creating all, everything will be done by them itself. Okay, the JDK path and those things we don't need to do it. They will do it in the real-time scenarios. But in your local machine, if you want to do, like you have to know how to do that. Okay, but the maintenance with the Jenkins will be done by a different team, like the DevOps team will do. Okay, and for your local, like you can also create people also. Let's say if someone wants to access it, let's say you want to give access to some other people in your home, okay, or 2-3 people are using the same system, okay, they also can create, like you can create a users and they can also access the Jenkins from there. Okay, so it's an admin task which we generally don't do it, okay, but as it is our local machine, you can also do it. Okay, so this is how, like, we can use the Jenkins to execute or use the Jenkins to build our project and execute our test cases. Okay, any questions or is it clear?